Hello gamers, another week of Team Fortress 2 information. So if you remember, a long time ago there was a weird Source 2 leak about a codenamed TF video game that was in production. Tyler yesterday posted a video and he found information about this. I think at this point it is literally undeniable that the TF codename game is some sort of Team Fortress game. Whether it's Team Fortress Source 2 or it's Team Fortress 3, it is absolutely undeniable. And I say this because what he showed us was this. This is a screenshot from a tool in CS2 called Source 1 Import, and they added support for some extra entities or like objects in the game. So of them that were added in like a recent CS2 update, there was a funk door, which actually is really surprising that they don't exist in CS2. But it's like the, spawn doors or like literally any kind of door that opens based on like when you like get close to it. That's what that is. Funk smoke volume, I think it's literally just like a visual effect where there's like smoke. It's really not that big of a deal. But the really big thing is the respawn room visualizer. Now this thing it doesn't exist in any other Valve game, and it is, I can tell you with like 200% certainty that this TF codename Source 2 game is a Team Fortress 2 game, because this doesn't appear in anything else, and it is like an extremely specific Team Fortress entity. What is even a respawn room visualizer? Like, what the hell am I even talking about? This is the blue spawn room. You know how, it's not good to let the enemy team walk into your respawn room? So when I open this door, there'll be like a no entry sign, and this blocks me from walking in. I'm trying my hardest to get in and I can't. So this is what the respawn room visualizer is. That's what this is. Now if I swap over to the blue team, I can walk in and out freely. And that's what the respawn room visualizer is. It's a conditional wall that stops you from walking through, specifically if you're of a certain team, or, it depends on what your affiliation is. And that's what it is. And that's not something that exists in any other Valve game. It is literally made specifically just for TF2, and it is just like a Team Fortress 2 thing. There are probably entities that work similarly in other Valve games, like in Left 4 Dead 2 or something, but in all of those cases, those entities were also named something else. So even if there is something that works similar to this, they're not called respawn room visualizer. This is how and why it's 1000%. It's got to be a Team Fortress 2 thing that they're working on. Okay, and just so everything is super clear, here's what happens if I delete that respawn room visualizer. Now, if I try to open this door, wow, the respawn room visualizer is gone, and I can just walk in and start spawn camping blue team, like an evil tryhard. So that's what it does. Okay, so I've never really looked into this, so I wanted to find out what he was even getting all of this from, right? So this information comes from the CS2 tracker, and what he found was every update, SteamDB will generate like a difference between the old and new stuff, right? And so when was it? It was like October where this happened. Source1 import.exe. So this is where Tyler found the information from. It's also kind of scary. There's like plus 3,000 lines. So they added like a ton of stuff in this update to the Source 1 import tool. And if you load the diff and then you Control F, you'll see where Tyler found this information from. Okay, if we now Control F for Funk Respawn Room Visualizer, hey, there it is. Okay, so this is where he found it from. The last big question is, what the hell is any of this? Like, what is a Source 1 import? Where is this from? Like, what's going on? So what it is that if you're in your Steam comment folder, you go to CSGO, you go to the game bin, and then Win64. And if you scroll down to the S section, there is a source1 import.exe. So this is how we have this information in the first place. Honestly, I'm not really sure why Valve gives us this and ships this with the game, but it is what it is. So this is how we know. And so what this is, right, is called this file on the Steam tracker, on like the GitHub tracker, is like source1 import underscore strings, right? So when human readable code gets turned into what the computer can run, it gets compiled down to assembly, right? But strings are still English words, right? Like a chunk of English words, or like an English sentence. Like for example, when the program needs to say error, like you messed something up, that error message needs to be saved as is. Technically, it can get encrypted, but you will incur decryption costs, so it will like run worse on the computer. So there's not really much of a reason to be honest. But so yeah, when a program gets compiled, all of the English words are still intact. So this is how you can decompile it, and then you can see, oh, what they added, and we can find this respawn room visualizer thing. But if you're like a massive nerd and you don't trust anything, you can go open this up in your hex editor of choice. And now if you go search for respawn room visualizer, oh wait, I think it's an S. Hey, there it is, Func respawn room visualizer next to Func door. So this is where it comes from. If you try to do this on like a fresh install of CS2, you won't actually be able to find it because Source1 import doesn't actually come with CS2, the video game. What you actually need to do is to go to DLC and then you also install the workshop tools. And that's how you get the Source1 import.exe thing. As a final tidbit, right? If we rewind the clock a little bit, there was a very interesting bit of happening a long time ago, if anyone still remembers at all. January 10th, 2024, a little Team Fortress project got DMCA'd. Team Fortress Source 2 got DMCA'd by Valve. Now, it could be a coincidence. This could mean nothing. It's up for you to decide what you think this means. There was also something a little interesting that was said 9 years ago, if you remember. Gabe Newell did like a Reddit AMA, and this has been rattling in my mind so long. And so much has been adding up to make it make sense. But 9 years ago, someone asked him, does Valve plan on doing anything with Source 2 in the coming years? And Gabe Newell said, we are continuing to use Source 2 as our primary game development environment. Aside from moving to Dota 2 to the engine recently, we are also using it as the foundation of some unannounced projects. We would like to have everyone working on games here at Valve to eventually be using the same engine. Now, in fucking absolutely infamous and standard Valve practice, in standard Valve fashion, it's been the fucking decade since they said this, and they're still trying to do this. But I do think that this is probably kind of still true, and like it's like a goal they're vaguely still in search of, and they're still pursuing. So Team Fortress 2 Source 2, oh my god. How exciting. We have one tiny little crumb left for you, news addicts. Okay, so this is not special. If you're following the Source SDK 2013 repo, you'd have seen this. But the last little interesting thing to bring up is last week, Eric merged or basically accepted the code for this fix. Basically, if you change gravity in TF2, your computer freaks out because it doesn't know what to do with that information. So like in the past, when gravity has been changed to like 0, right? You just like jitter in the air. Because every frame, your computer thinks gravity is normal, so it's trying to make you fall back down to Earth. But obviously, on the server side, gravity is 0, so like that shouldn't happen, and it like snaps you back up to where you should be. So the fix was, this doesn't happen anymore, and you smoothly float through the air. Wow, so exciting. This is going to usher in an incredible era of zero gravity Team Fortress 2 gameplay. Alright, that's all we got today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.